When my dad died, I thought I knew who he was. But soon after his death, I started to discover things that changed those assumptions forever. A passport with a completely different date of birth on it, a marriage certificate to a secret wife, a whole family in Ghana who I'd never met. My dad was living a second life, and I had no idea. My dad was born and raised in Ghana. He moved to the UK, met my mum, had me, and then for reasons I've been trying to figure out ever since, he cut off all ties to Ghana and to the family he left behind. He never told me anything about them. It was left to me to deal with death certificates, funeral arrangements, and clearing out Dad's house after he died. But pretty quickly, I started to uncover secrets that turned my understanding of who he was upside down. First, I found his old Ghanaian passport, which showed his real date of birth made him 10 years older than we always thought he was, and with a different birthday. He'd been using a fake age and fake birthday since he moved to the UK. So he wasn't 64 when he died like I thought, he was 75. Then after that, I discovered a marriage certificate, but my mum and dad were never married. It turned out that my dad had gotten married in 1974 to a woman named Irene, way before he ever even met my mum. He never told her about it, and they never got divorced. So my dad, the man that taught me to be honest, to do the right thing, had been lying about so much. So who was he? And what else had he been hiding? I've been retracing his life, hoping to understand why he kept so much hidden. That journey's led me to old friends, former colleagues, and even more mysteries. After years of digging, my detective work finally paid off and led me to one of my Ghanaian family members for the very first time, my cousin Edward. Finding Edward set me on the path to Ghana, where I set off on the adventure of a lifetime. I've met new family, visited the house that my dad was born and grew up in, become the guest of honour at a homecoming celebration that I could never have imagined. I was even made a sub-chief of the town my dad came from in a ceremony that I will never forget. I couldn't have asked for more from my time in Ghana, but now, on my very last day, was the final twist in this epic journey. A phone call from the woman I thought I'd never get the chance to speak to. Irene. After years of searching, I'd finally found my dad's secret wife. She wasn't in the UK where they married decades ago, or in America where I'd been looking for her. She was in Ghana, and I only had a few hours left to uncover the truth about their marriage before I went back home. This was my last chance, and I wasn't going to waste it. Hey guys, and welcome back to the last episode in this series of Hidden Roots. I never imagined that on my very last day in Ghana, I would get a chance to speak to my dad's wife. But here I was. In this episode, I sit down with Irene at her home in Kofrowidua and talk about what happened all those years ago. We had arrived in Kofrowidua, and after a little mix-up at the wrong car park, had finally made it to meet my dad's wife, Irene. As everything was so last minute, our meeting was crossing over with other visitors who'd come to see her. But one of the guests was more familiar to me than I was expecting.
Hi.
I'm Stella.
Nice to meet you, Stella. Joe.
Yeah.
I know about you because are you related? You're related.
Yes, this is my aunt.
Did you live
That's
in America?
nice.
I still live.
Are you a doctor, pediatrician?
Yes, I am.
So I was looking for Irene. This man was like, "Who in the hell is this weirdo? Do I need to call the authorities? Restraining order?" This is the face of a man that's just realised the call is coming from inside the house. This was the Stella that I had confused for Irene's daughter during my detective days back in series 1. The information that was online may not have been that great, but it also suggested she might have had a daughter named Stella. So I've been searching for her as well, but again, the emails I've sent and the calls that I've put in haven't led me anywhere. And I found some details based in the US and it said that she had a relative, maybe a daughter, called Stella, and I found a website that had your details on, but I called them, and they kept on hanging up on. They didn't want to speak to me. They're like, who's this weird guy that's like trying to get hold of? Okay, so I was after the right Stella. This is really good to know.
Getting to join the dots, working out that I'd been right to look for Irene in Virginia, and that Stella was a relative, and just happened to be there at the same time I was there. It was so satisfying.
Can we take a picture of the sign?
Oh, sure.
Stella and her partner were doing what I was doing. They were on a journey just like I was, looking back at their family trees and trying to connect to their roots. It got me thinking about the people all over the world who are doing the same thing, looking back at where they came from and trying to connect the dots.
We said our goodbyes to Stella. I assured them one last time that I wasn't crazy, and then we headed to Irene's house to catch up on the past 50 years of Irene's life. Irene was now back at her home in Cofferwidower, having first left for America in the 1970s. I'd already learned that Irene had never divorced Dad and never remarried. She didn't have kids of her own, but there were children coming and going at the house. She seemed to have lived a full and happy life without Dad in it. I wanted to find out more. With only about an hour before we had to leave again, we sat down to talk. Thanks to everyone for watching. Please subscribe and turn on notifications, as there'll be new videos coming out when this series is over.
So, you met Dad in Ghana, or you met him in the UK?
UK.
You met him in the UK, and it was
Because
Doctor
the doctor who.
introduced you.
So before I got this, the doctor some pictures and all those.
And you were like, okay.
And he wanted to see me badly, so I had to go.
Okay.
I should just explain that the doctor Irene is talking about is Dr. John, or Cousin John, who I met back in Accra at the beginning of the trip.
Were you in love? At any point?
That's what I can't tell.
You don't even know. So what made you want to marry him?
Do I know? It's been a long time.
You're still technically married to Dad now.
Yeah, there was no official divorce or even discussion with him for divorce or anything. So I don't know.
So you didn't have, it wasn't a wild romance. She doesn't really know why she married him. Did she love him? I'm not sure. It certainly wasn't some great love affair. Irene had basically lived a whole lifetime since she last spoke to or saw my dad. It must have been so weird for her to be reliving those memories with the son of a man she hadn't seen for 50 years. A son that until that morning she didn't even know existed.
Actually, at that time too, he was busy on his studies. That's all he was concerned with.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then he wanted to come back to Ghana to lecture. So he sent me to Lagos.
He sent you there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I went. He was not calling, he was not replying letters. But then I left. I didn't follow up. I got to a point where he has to take up.
Yeah.
He has to come. But he wasn't coming. Nothing really happened, that fighting or the arguing or something. I just got a ticket and left. I went to US. He didn't call back, he didn't write, why did you go, why did you tell me, or something like that, or something.
He just let you go. So it seems like my dad ghosted his wife. He told her to go to Legon in Ghana and that he would come and meet her there, but he never came. She wrote letters, he didn't reply. She called him, he didn't answer. He just went his own way. To me, that is insane. I felt so bad for the way that Irene had been treated by my dad, but she had a very thank you next attitude about the whole thing.
If there's something which is, to me, it being difficult or not something I like, I just brush it away and forget about it.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, I'm just sensing that there's some resentment, which would be completely reasonable, that he didn't treat you very well.
Oh, me, I will never wait for you to mistreat me. I'll be long gone.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Once Irene started talking, she had plenty to say. The memories were coming back. We got on to how Dad was as a person. I'd always found him to be a bit of a loner, to be honest. Passionate about his work, but not much else. I wondered if Irene had experienced a different dad, seen a different side to him.
He liked visiting universities. He went to Oxford University. Oh, so many places. Spent time traveling, but he never talked about anybody.
Right. Did he have any friends?
No friends.
No friends.
Come home, enjoy his TV, enjoy food.
Yeah.
Show you what you wanted to eat, you cook. You also there enjoy it, whatever.
Did you ever talk about having children, or was it never really an option? You'd never really thought about it?
The man had a different vision. To be somebody, to be called Dr. So or this and this and something big. He had no time for this for family life but all he was focusing on his studies, to finish this and be called this and something. That's what he was busy with.
Yeah.
If you're interested in his field, okay. You see, but something else, no.
Yeah. This sounds like.
Did you have time to spend time with him?
Yeah. He didn't. He wasn't interested in me. He's interested in my studies.
You see, book or something to him. He wanted to achieve something, you see, to be called something or to be great in something. And maybe he wasn't getting it, so that took him away from the earth to wherever those things were. I forgot all about him. He forgot all about me.
Yeah.
Did he mention me?
Never.
Never. He would never do it.
No.
Well, the dad Irene knew seemed to be pretty similar to the one I'd grown up with. I think in his later years, personal connections became more important, but I guess by then it was too late for him. He cared about his work and his achievements, about education and working hard. He dedicated his life to racial equality and diversity, and he achieved a lot. He made his mark, but in the end, did it give him what he'd been looking for? I thought back to where this had all begun for me. In Dad's bedroom when I'd first found the marriage certificate and the photo album of his Ghanaian family. His room was stacked to the ceiling with work papers. You couldn't see the floor for case studies and reports. He'd filled his bedroom up with so many work files that there was no space left for him to live. And those precious photos of his family, the marriage certificate to Irene, the letters from his brothers, got one tiny box under his bed. If only he'd been able to let go of some of his work, he might have been able to live in that room a bit more freely. If he'd found a way to connect with those things under his bed, maybe he could have healed those damaged relationships. But I think he was trapped. He'd gone too far down the road of being alone to know how to get back. I would have loved to have listened if he'd felt he could tell me, but he never could.
And he never mentioned his parents or brothers and sisters. You wonder what's going on. You never mention your family, your sisters or brothers or your parents, or you never say anything.
And he never mentioned it to you either.
I don't know whether he had some difficulty in his infancy when he was growing up, you see. But sometimes he acted like somebody had done something in the family he didn't like. Maybe they didn't help him when he was growing up in school. I don't know about his parents, so it's difficult to tell.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody had done something to hurt him badly. Say, hey, go your way.
He wasn't someone that was able to show affection. He wasn't someone that was able to show love.
Yeah, he showed that he didn't have it when he was growing up. So he didn't know how to give it out.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Before we finished up, Irene remembered that one of Dad's family members had contacted her to warn her about Dad and to tell her that he was strange and that she might want to think twice about marrying him.
She couldn't remember the name though. It might have been one of Dad's sisters maybe. At this stage, I think that's a mystery I'm never going to find the answer to.
I met one of his sisters or relatives, I think the sister. And this woman invited me, right? So I came down from Akotumbo. And I never forgot what she said. Are you sure you can stay with him? He's a very difficult man.
Yeah, she said that.
Yeah, the woman said that. Are you sure you can live with him? You have no idea.
Wow.
He's a very difficult man. Anyway, I didn't take that.
My time with Irene had come to an end. We'd only had an hour or so together, but I'd learned so much. About a relationship that Dad had kept hidden his whole life. A relationship, a marriage that I don't think either of them really knew why they got into. Irene had described a man that was so familiar to me. Obsessed with work, focused on his achievements, and unbothered by much else. I couldn't imagine how much he'd overcome to get from his village in Chevy to head up the Commission for Racial Equality in the West Midlands. His determination had paid off, but there'd been a cost. I was glad to know that Irene didn't seem to have been too affected by Dad's betrayal and had gone on to live a happy life in the US and now back in Ghana. She was full of light and positive energy, and I'm sure if we'd had more time, she would have had a lot more stories to tell.
Maybe I'll find out more when I come back. The last thing that Irene said to me before I left was that next time I was in Ghana, I should come and stay with her.